Hey friends, so today I'm not talking about photography but a bit about audio. I had a project that took place in the audiosphere, and for everyone I tell about it, I also share it online. And I'll share the short version online, and then I'll explain further a bit more in detail. And so I had an audio corner. I enjoyed disconnecting from the world while listening to music. I had radio equipment, Gianti, so Simti and the Whites. They, of course, waited 2 years to get them in white, but that's not the point. The story. Next, I was in Jalgava at an Audiophile who was sketching something really cool for himself. It looked terrible, but the sound was such that with my eyes closed, it felt like there were musicians in front of me. So I tried walking around the stores and looking for something similar that could sound in that direction. It wouldn't be cosmic expensive, but at least it would be in a white case. I walked around the stores and I really couldn't find anything cool like that. Of course, there was some crazy stuff in Sina, but I wanted something normal. Then I started looking for used equipment on SS. The only thing I found from one Air Baltic pilot, JBL L150, I put it to work. I was listening. I still liked them. I liked everything. And then I thought that I should just change the case with these same speakers. Just change the case. I started looking for someone in Latvia who could change the cases. But, all the masters I went to, in the end, the product looked something like this. Of course, everything sounds good, but nothing looks nice. I'm into visual aesthetics, I need something nice. And then I found Sound of Eden from Lipaia, which were already ready, cool, designed, and well-made products. I started sketching how I would like to see my speakers. It seems to me that they are similar to Avalon's. I like that design, those 3D sketches, I trusted it. I think they are similar to Avalon's. I like that design, those 3D sketches. I trusted it. And back again. The case was done by the main guys, all the internal parts were taken care of. The crossover was replaced with new parts. And here are the speakers. And I really like them and still listen to them. It's been more than 6 years now and I can't find anything better for myself. That's the short version. And now it's all the same, just a little bit. In more detail for those who want to dive a little deeper. Well, there was a Radiotechnica at home. They were Gianti FS100. I think I've already scratched the Radiotechnica from the mixed ones and so on. But for me, I liked the way they looked. Their hair was not very long. Available. And in the store, of course, there is wood, and in my opinion, the wood is outdated. I wanted something bright. My interior is white, bright, and I can't stand any dark wood. I wrote to them, and they said they would take the orders. If there's another order, they can make 2 or 3, but they won't make just one. Waited 2 years, she wrote to me, and then I finally bought them. I was listening, I liked everything, everything was cool. I even took them to work. And everything satisfied me until that moment. While in some random order I ended up with a craftsman. In Jelgava, I ended up with a craftsman. In Jelgava, he had a really strange setup. He had one for each channel. There was my own amplifier. Everything was tuned, so it sounded perfect. He might have spent maybe around 10,000 euros, but it sounded like a system worth 50 to 100,000. The appearance, of course, was terrible, but after you listen to such a system, you come home and realize that you have something that just doesn't compare. I don't know what it is, but this old guy just had something special. The appearance, of course, was terrible, but, well, after all, you obey such a system. You come home and realize that there's something just gurgling there. I don't know what, but that old guy just had something special. Of course, I definitely don't want anything ugly. I wanted something beautiful, and then I started searching through stores for a long time, walking around Balta Stumbas. That could sound like that, at least a little in that direction, The main thing for me was that when I close my eyes, I want to feel like I'm being played to musical instruments like in real life. That's mine. The ideal standard. What could it be that I'm striving for? So there was something in that direction. I got in touch, but I couldn't get the white one. And there was something like this. And so I walked around, and in the end, I didn't find anything good. And there was something like this. And so I walked around, and in the end, I didn't find anything good. To put it simply, spending maybe 5 times more than what was shown in the technique, I might only get a sound that's twice as good, but that's it for me. I was not satisfied. So I started looking on SS. I went to various places. I called and wrote beforehand, and I was calling and I did all sorts of things. But the people there sound great. It's really super there, like, totally. Well, everyone said that it's super awesome there, the best it can be, but in the end, the best there can be. But in the end, when I tried it, it was just a total mess. Some kind of weirdness. Some high notes that didn't sound right. Or the bass didn't sound right. Well, I just had such horrors. And then I went to one Air White pilot. And he was standing at home. At home, JBL L150. I think it's called that. Let's try to find the exact name. Yes, JBL L150 from 1979 to start with. It's even older than me. I really liked how it sounded and I was quite surprised. The price is also normal, reasonable. And I took them. I set it up for myself at work. And I listened for a long time thinking about what to do with them. Hey, I put it on at work, listened to it. Well, for me, the bass was really just fantastic. Maybe the highs weren't that great and the mids weren't that great, but the bass and that feeling was just what I wanted. Of course, it's not perfect, and this is just my vision of the sound. It's individual for everyone, just like one person likes green, another likes blue, and another likes black. So, I realize that I want them forever. For a long time, but I'm just not satisfied with their vintage look. Some might think that's crazy because it's classic, blah blah blah, but I'm more inclined towards the visual and I want to see what I like every day. Manta, choose as the option is there. I started looking for who makes speakers in Latvia and who could actually work for me. And the joke is that everyone claims to be super puper masters, but when you visit someone, then unfortunately you see something like this. Of course, everything sounds good, everything works, but no one had anything done right. And you see, you can't trust someone like that to make something nice for you. Okay. And then I got into Sound of Eden. Liepāja. A guy who had already worked on more speakers from start to finish, and the product is really visually cool. About the sound, of course, you can argue about it depending on who you ask, but I said that I want my speakers just in a different look. He said, okay, we'll make everything, just let me draw it out, and then we'll figure everything else out. Well, I'm like the Avalon speakers. If there is such a thing as Avalon Acoustics, you can Google it. Something along these lines. And I started to get inspired in design, and I started to sketch, to draw, where at the beginning, at first I was drawing based on that, what my large speaker is like, I refined the design, keeping all the dimensions, how tall it is, the proportions, everything is maintained. Then I cut out the foam plastic, trying to refine all the edges, how I would like to see it in real life. And then just like that, the 3D model, I had all the precise dimensions. And then I went ahead and made everything. Of course, I wanted it to have the eye internals replaced with new modern ones. So it's not just that I changed the casing, but something old stays inside, which is dried up, or something along those lines. And here was already a more precise drawing. The 3D model is handed over to the head, the wires are ordered, all the parts, the internals are replaced with modern ones to serve well for a long time. And here you can already see it. At the head, it's already ready. The result. And then the speakers themselves. They are ready and stand out not only visually but also in terms of sound quality. Here is the old Radio Technica Gianti, which I then sold off, and here is mine. The sound, I would say, was 10 times better than the Radio Technica. The sound, I would say, was 10 times better than the Radio Technica. And here is my sketch, my cutout foam plastic. Radio Technics, my foam plastic, my speakers. Now I'm going to some dealers' new speakers. And that's the story about my speakers. And now, of course, I go to some dealers or whoever presents new speakers. Everyone talks about mine, they're the best. But, well, I still really like my sound. And I don't want to change them for anything. Even if something sounds better, I'm just so satisfied with this sound. With those paper speakers, well, I think he's just fantastic. And here it is about how I found a sound that I really truly like. And I also adapt the sound to the visual imagery that I like. And I made it. Spending a little resources, I created something beautiful that pleases not only the eyes, but in the end also brings joy. My ears. And that's how I disconnect a bit from life. I just turn on my favorite pieces, whether it's a CD, a tape, or vinyl records. And that's how I disconnect and relax. There you go. Thank you. Hi.